So hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the dyno. So we've got a Audi A4 2-litre Tfsi being dropped off. It's got a KO4 turbo, a few trick bits, maths a bit dead, about to cable tie that on because the actual clip's gone. So this is the longitudinal engine. It's obviously only on the Audi, so they've got a returnless fuel system. It's got a bit of a not very good exhaust on it, so I'm going to have a look at that. Hopefully we can kind of try and make a bit of power out of it. We shall see. So let's get on with this one. Right, welcome back. So I'm in the Audi, just about to start up. So first part of the tuning, because this is going to be the first video of the channel as such, so I'm just going to go through what you have to do to tune them, so I don't have to keep doing it every video. So we're on the dyno. You need to be able to do a couple of things to tune a car. First of all, we need to be able to read the ECU and write to the ECU. So for that, we're going to use CMD Flash Tech. Now, from there, you need to be able to set the car up. Now, the only way to set the car up is using the car's sensors, sensors that you can add through Lambda and things like that. So to be able to get the information from those sensors, we use tools. In this case, I'm going to use Rostec's VCDS. So with that, I'll be able to log all the parameters I need to do to be able to set the engine up. Now, to set the engine up, you need software. So the file you pull off the car, you need to put into a software to be able to get into the different maps to do what you want to do. In this case, I'm going to be using Winholes. So there's all these different things that you need to buy to be able to tune these cars, and it's all these different parts that I want to kind of get through to people. That it's not an easy job, and to be able to set a car up like this is a different turbo and things like that. It can take months of experimenting, of testing, of building files, of learning the ECU structures to be able to do it. So it's kind of hard when you kind of hit people with like, you're too expensive, you're this, you're that, you're the other, but you don't know how long like these guys have spent to tune these cars. It's not just myself, it's people all over the country every day are putting in all the effort to be able to tune these cars to a level that you'd expect for the money you pay. And then so you know, just bear that in mind when you approach these tuning companies. So the next thing I do, I'm on a dyno, so I'm going to I don't need to tune your car on a dyno. That's another thing that's kind of got out, is all the dyno is going to do for me today is pretty much show me what power levels I'm doing and offer me a safe environment to be able to tune the car. I can do exactly the same tune out on the road or wherever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. So just bear that in mind as well when you're booking in for tuning. That dynos aren't always essential, and just because someone's got a dyno doesn't mean they're going to tune the car any different to someone who hasn't got a dyno. So just bear that in mind, and we'll get on just great. So what I'm going to do, well, I've already pulled the read off the car and I've put it into Winholes. So this is what it looks like. So I've done this car before because it's from another dealer of mine. So I've kind of already got like a base tune, which I'm going to run on the dyno just to see where it is, because the guy hasn't got a dyno, so I kind of don't know where I am with it at the minute. So I'm just going to set that up, set the dyno up, things like that, and then I'll come back over to you and then we'll get cracking on this car and I'll show you what's involved. So in general fashion, we've come across our first issue. That air mass value, that air mass I showed you that's cable tied on, isn't actually working. So a sure sign to see if things are working is to look inside the actual engine ECU and see what the ECU is seeing from that sensor. So I've got engine RPM, coolant temp sensor, that's all working. Absolute load, engine torque, mean injection time, charge pressure specified actual, air mass, which is dead, and intake air temperature. So what I'm going to do now is going to give the car a run anyway, because it will actually run an alpha N kind of fueling. So I should be okay just to kind of set this up. I could probably run mathless if I really wanted to, but I'm just going to look into it and see what I can do with it first, see if there's any other problems before we start just digging into that one problem. So I'm just going to give it a run up, see how that gets on, and I'll come back to you in a few seconds. Right, so welcome back. So I'm all set up and ready to go. I had to error the car out a bit to get the ABS and sensors to flag out so I can run the actual car to change gears and stuff, but here we go. So I've got engine speed, coolant temp, mean injection time, charge air pressure specified at actual, air mass is obviously 0 because that's dead, intake air temp, limitation torque because these are torque based ECU, so I'd like to see where that is, current of oxygen sensor, bank 1 sensor 1, which is the most important, or fuel sensor, which is the sensor before the turbo, well, straight after the turbo, so to say before the cat. Then you've got ignition time and adjusting cylinder 1 just to see what that's like, short-term adaptation for the mixture, so it's just a short-term fuel mixture, and then the charge pressure control specified value, which is the wastegate, so that's your turbo So the N75 valve, turbo control valve, if you like. So that's that. So I'm just going to give this car a log based on those. Dyno I'm just setting up now. Just get rid of all that crap. Yes. Close. So it's going to set this up to 3,000 RPM in 4th gear, and then I'll give it a pull, and then we'll see where we are. So then the first run is out the way, and this is what we got. So we're currently at 215, if I got that in the picture. Yeah, 215 brake and 284.9 Newton meters. And we've got a nice nasty dip at 5k. And it actually cut out at 6k. So I'm just going to see why. This is why we log the car. So I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to check the codes on the actual ECU to see what's gone on there, to see if there's anything flagged up, to make it a little bit obvious. So obviously ABS, yeah, I did that. ABS, no, that's okay. So we've got nothing in there. So then we revert to the logs. So I'm using ECU edit just to open up the logs. If someone's been out and tuned your car without logs, it's probably not much good. Just to let you know. So here we go. So RPM at the top, just gonna see where we are. So coolant temp stayed at a steady 98 degrees. Mean injection times is 4 milliseconds, so that's well within what these injectors can do. Charge air pressure specified value, I'm asking for obviously 1.5 bar, but I'm not going to get that. Charge pressure actual value, I'm sitting about 1.7 bar flat, so pretty much wastegate duty, because my wastegate is actually only set to 30%, as you can see just here. So what I'm going to do now is bump up the wastegate duty cycle just to see what we're looking at in terms of what's going on, because we're at 200 brake at the minute, which is pretty much a stock car, so I obviously want to see more of that going on. So what I'm going to do now is just bump up that wastegate duty, because I've set a limit just here to 30%. I'm going to bump that up to say 60%, just as a flat 60% to see what's going on. And I'm going to come into a wastegate duty desired load. I'm just going to stock that. I think I don't need another hand. 2 seconds. We can put you on here. So I need FN. I need more hands than I've got here. FN, F11. Cool. So I'm just going to set that. In fact, no, I'll leave it alone. That'll be okay. I don't need that map. It's basically the pre-cycle depending on load. So yeah, actually, I'm sitting up in these kind of high load areas. I'm just going to set that to 65, just so it's just above where I actually am. And that should do that. I was going to flash this on. Name it what it is. So it's a 60%. And then flash this on, and then go again. So that's going to export the file. So each time you make changes, it becomes another version of that project. And that is how that works. So it's going to get rid of all this. And then flash this using CMD, and then I'll come back to you once that's finished. Okay, so that is now flashed. It took a total of 2 minutes and 38 seconds to sort that out, so not bad going. So what I'm going to do now is give it another run on the dyno and see what those changes have made, see where we are now power wise. So imagine we're at 215 at 284.9, so we'll see where we are now with that extra boost from the extra wastegate. So that didn't make a hell of a lot of power, so we're still on the lookout for more power. So the 60% made just over wastegate. If I just show you now, we're at 227 brake at 308 Newton meters. So it has gone up, but we're still not quite there yet. So let's have a look at the logs. On the logs, let's open up this log file. So 60% cap. So now we are, there's RPM again. So it kicked out at 6k or whatever it was again. Mean injection time is gone up to 5.2, which means because we've got a little bit more boost going through there. The peak boost is 1886, so it's about 10-11 psi. And then the intake air temp is still good. Still no limitations of any kind. The timing is still quite smooth and consistent, 15 degrees. And there we are with a flat wastegate table. That's flat because the boost isn't quite reached. I'm asking for more than we're getting, so I'm going to bump that up even more and then see where we go next. This is custom tuning. It's kind of bringing it up through the power band to see what we can get without putting the engine under any strain if there is a problem. So next part, I'm just going to bump that up again, flash that on again, and then run again. So back in a minute. In other news, it looks like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, I don't know what you can see to be honest, because it's all blurry and going through about 3 windows, but our Porsche has just arrived. So the next one to the channel is going to be Matt's Porsche. So the next one to the channel is going to be Matt's Porsche. And we've just got a GTS ourselves, which Baz is going to be building over on the Mallory channel. And then once that's finished, I'll get to tune it up and we'll see what we can make out of the GTS. Last week I was working on, this week I was working on a 992 with the 3 litre T engine, so that's quite fun. The GTS is like the next model up from that one. It's got the KO4 turbos, so I was at 513 brake or something on the 992, so I'm hoping I should be able to get about 5.5 out of this one with the bigger turbos. Matt's is the 2.5T. I'm going to start that Monday, so that's going to be the next car on the channel, so look forward to that one. So this is still flashing, it's just finishing up now, so I'll come back to you in a few seconds when we're all finished, and I'll probably give it a run, then come back. Programmed in and ready to go. I'm just going to give the dyno a reset just to start that off. So here we go. So this is what a dyno does for you over the road. Just means I can just sit here in one spot and run the car. Pretty much the same as I can on the road, but on the road I can kill someone, and on the dyno I can kill myself. So let's go. So that is that. So I've come across a problem, unfortunately, and I used to make videos based on a car, but it kind of got a bit tedious because you get halfway through, find a problem, and then you kind of forget where you are with the video, and it never got finished and sent out. So now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it as it comes. So obviously Baz's Porsche just turned up, so we've got that next week. We've also got Matt's yellow, I think it's Matt's yellowy orange Porsche, the 2.5T. So I'm going to jump on that next week. So that's going to be a video possibly for the week after. This one I've just had to stop because it started misfiring. It feels like it's blowing the boost, blowing the spark out. So I'm going to get off the dyno, take it to the workshop. In the next video, we'll pull the plugs out, we'll have a look, see what plugs in it, and go from there. I also want to chuck another MAF on it because we know that's dead. So that's obviously not an ideal situation. So I'm going to chuck another MAF on it as well, some new plugs, and then we'll rock on from there. So it just goes to show that not every session is quite clean cut. You can't always get the car on, finish it and carry on. So it's kind of a bit of a pain, but it's kind of life. So we're currently at, I'd say, I wouldn't say 261 because you can see in the graph there's this kick at the end which kind of makes it go over the 261 area. But if we drop down and pick up a cursor, I'd say we're more at like 250 brake. So still, you know, still drivable, which is what the guy kind of wanted. He's not really chasing power, which is kind of a bonus for him because he's not going to get it. But he's not chasing power, he's just chasing drivability. And unfortunately, we ain't quite got the drivability either because of that spark plug. So I'd have to either make it really slow or just stick in some new plugs, which is probably going to be the way forward, I think. So we'll stick in a new MAF so we can plug that in and it stays in, and then we'll chuck in some new plugs so that, you know, you can actually take the power because it's important. This is a Tfsi engine, so I'm guessing it's going to be NGK BKR7 EIXs, which is probably the best for this platform. So we'll chuck those in and then we'll crack on. So if you obviously like the videos, you want to see more, yada yada, obviously like and subscribe, and then we'll crack on, and then we'll start doing some more tuning. You'll start seeing everything I do from the start, to getting the car, to reading it, to building the tunes out, building the software out, and then going with it. Here's Fabian. So thank you.